How you doing, guys? Professor Easy with another BLADE-OSOPHY Sunday. It's kind of getting dark and my lighting is, well, it is what it is. And this is what I have to work with, and sorry, but that's just what I have. Anyways, I wanted to talk about something that surprised me a whole bunch the other day. I went out to buy a couple of corn on the cob from a stand nearby, where this family they bring corn from the fields and they prepare them the traditional Mexican way. And so I went out for a couple of them for dinner. And there's usually a lot of people, and there was a lot of people, but there was one person that caught my eye, and it was this guy sitting nearby, and he seemed to be like erased from the whole picture, and people just, he was like invisible for the rest of the people. And it caught my eye because he was doing something with his hands, and he appeared to be a homeless person, which he was. Well, not so sure, but just listen, bear with me and listen to my story. And what happened was, people were going about their business and just buying and taking their corn and leaving. And when I started seeing what he was doing, he was working with something like palm tree leaves, very knowing what he was doing, so it seemed. And to my surprise, in the end, of course, he knew what he was doing. So what was he doing? He was working. It was around 8:30 or 9 p.m. And the guy, instead of asking for money, which he never did, he was working. He was working on something. And, I assumed that he was working on something to sell, but he wasn't invisible for me. And so I invited him. This is very different. This wasn't charity. I invited him a corn on the cob. And so asked him to choose how he wanted it. And he was very thankful. And to my surprise, he just asked for the simplest one. So I had the person selling the corn prepare one for him just the way he wanted it. Meanwhile, I went to the store nearby to buy a couple of Cokes, one for me and another one for him. And so without saying anything, I placed the Coke next to him. By the way, just one of my favorite cups, and just some cold, hard, dark coffee. Strong coffee, not hard coffee. Anyways, he asked me, could you please wait so that I can give you a souvenir? Because to thank you for your kindness. I did not want it. I did not I told him, that's okay, you go ahead and sell it and earn some money. But he insisted, and so it would seem to me like I did not want to neglect what he was doing as just any decent human being wouldn't, right? Just accept the gift thankfully, with gratitude, I mean. And so I waited, and meanwhile he told me that he had learned to do this craft in the state of Mexico, that he was from El Salvador, and that he was going through Mexico. So he's an immigrant. But, you know, it was late at night for him to be working. I knew it was going to be a cold night. And if you just sum up these things, you can't but feel not sorry. That's not the right expression, but empathy. You feel this empathy for this person or people that are fighting so hard for life. And you know, I complain sometimes about how difficult my life has turned when all this COVID thing hit us, and I lost my job and everything. But here's a person, you know, working with his hands to earn a couple of, you know, just a quarter or something in US money. And he wasn't asking for it. So he just told me where he was from, and he did not anticipate and told me what he was doing. He just told me, please wait. And to my surprise, he did this. This is a palm tree leaf that he got from the dumpster, from a place where fruit and vegetables are sold. And can you guess what it is? It's a hummingbird. And I just loved, look at the detail. I just loved so much this craft. And so I gave him all the change I had, and thanked him for, he did not want it to accept it at first, and I insisted that his work be paid, and that it was such a good piece of work that I valued it, and that I just had to pay for it. And so he was thankful, and I was thankful, and I left with my corn on the cob for dinner and this beautiful hummingbird. And well, here I was sitting at home in a simple but warm house with these and other wonderful blades. And it just warmed my heart to know that there are people, good people out there, you know, wanting to make a living like any one of us. and that I was able to just invite him a meal. And every time I see this hummingbird, it reminds me of that empathy. And not only that, but it made me value and treasure what I have even more. And so I was pleased and grateful for what I have, and to know that there are still honest, good, hardworking people out there that though they may be homeless or immigrants or are just out of luck, they try their best. And though life hasn't smiled to them or isn't smiling right now to them, they can do something as wonderful as this. And this for me is something very important, something that I have in my office hanging from the roofs in a place where I can see it every single day, and not forget that wonderful lesson that this person from El Salvador taught me. And so there's nothing special that I did but to share a meal, to invite a fellow brother to a meal and a drink. And in exchange, he gave me a hummingbird. Isn't that wonderful? So, and it made me rethink about enjoying this hobby and not being obsessive about it, and being thankful for what I have, whether it's something simple and budget friendly, or something custom, or a production perfection, something flawed but that I was able to fix, and it took another value, or just something that is out of time and wonderful. So, what are you thankful for? Do you take advantage of these opportunities that life presents us to awaken that side of us and to revalue our families, our hobbies, our entire lives? I hope you do. And if you do, please share it and try to go out and do something kind for someone. Not as a charity, not as being on top and you helping someone below, no. But rather as equals. Professor EDC out.